let's talk about the price cap. What is this G7 price cap on Russian oil, and how does it relate to Nord Stream 1 being closed? The G7 basically, they want to limit how much money Russia makes. Okay, so when we say G7, we're talking about Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US, and the EU, okay, and the European Union. So they have agreed to a Russian oil price cap. Why are they doing this? They're doing this because in the last couple of months, you've seen them sanction Russia, and what has that done? It's driven the value of the ruble up, the euro and the dollar are down, and the pound is down, and Russia has made even more money than it was making before, because the Europeans are still buying the oil. The rest of the world is still buying the oil, and the price of oil and the price of gas have gone up. So even if Russia's selling less oil and less gas, the fact that the price has gone up means that Russia's making more. There's more revenue. Okay, so they've come up with a new plan. This is their new brilliant plan. The oil cap is supposed to come into effect at the same time as the EU embargo. So that's on December 5th. Okay, that's very soon. And they will have two price caps. They will have one for crude oil, and one for refined petroleum products. Okay? So you'll have the crude cap applying from December 5th, and the refined products to follow from February 5th, 2023. The G7 say that the aim is to prevent insurers and shipping companies from moving Russian seaborne crude and petroleum products, unless they've purchased it at below a threshold. So 90% of all these insurance companies, right, and shipping companies, where are they? They're in G7 countries, right? So if you want to go and move Russian oil, you need to get a ship, and you need to get that ship and the cargo insured, right? And so what do you have to do if 90% of those companies and insurance companies are in the G7? Well, you got to go to those companies, right? The idea is that they will refuse to move your Russian oil unless you bought it at a price per barrel that is below this threshold. Okay, so for example, they want to make sure that Russia is making no money, right? So instead of, let's say, I don't know, $60 per barrel, unless you bought the Russian oil at a price that they have set, it's not getting through. Okay, they don't want you to give any money to the Russians. As I said, G7 countries control 90% of the market for global shipping insurance. And Russia requires a huge amount of vessels to export its oil, and it could struggle to find enough tankers to meet its needs if Western insurers refuse to cover its cargo. Now, of course, the whole world, I mean, they would like you to believe that it's these countries, but it's not. And you cannot have a price cap if India and China do not play ball. Okay? Why is that? Well, because India and China are still importing Russian oil. As a matter of fact, India does not import most of its oil from Russia. However, since the war in Ukraine began, India has started importing more Russian oil, okay? So it has increased its number of imports. Why did it do this? Because the Russians offered them oil at a discount. So the Indians are looking at that, and they're saying, what was the price? Oh, we're taking it. We want it. Give it to us, right? They were giving them $30 discounts. I forget what it was, but you have to remember the market price was $120, I think, right? This is the worst since 2008. So you have global oil prices going to $120, and the Indians were getting the oil at $40 cheaper. Why wouldn't they take that? So if you want this price cap to work, you need India and you need China to play along. So they say, how will the price cap work? Okay, how will the oil price cap work? I think it's good to let Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, explain it. Okay, here's the video. Let's listen.
A price cap on Russian oil is one of our most powerful tools to address the pain that Americans and families across the world are feeling at the gas pump and the grocery store right now. A limit on the price of Russian oil would deny Putin revenue his war machine needs and would build on the historic sanctions we've already implemented that make it more difficult for him to wage his war or grow his economy. It will also aid in maintaining the global supply of oil. A price cap on Russian...
She thinks she's very smart. Also, by the way, I knew she was the Secretary of the Treasury, right? I didn't know she sounded like that, though. Not very pleasant to listen to, is she? She wants to limit the price of Russian oil while making sure that lower and middle income countries can still buy it. Yeah. They don't want to ban Russian oil altogether. You understand this? You know why that would be bad, right? If they banned, I mean, they've banned it internally, but if they wanted to make sure that no one could move any Russian oil, that would be horrendous. You know why? Because the price of oil would skyrocket. It would be probably even worse than it was in February and March, right? When it was at 120. So their idea is that, okay, we will let you buy Russian oil, you know, if it's below this price, and we want just enough Russian oil to continue flowing so that the global market stays stable. You're very wishful, aren't you? Going back to the article from Deutsche Welle, they say the idea is that lower and middle income countries that have not imposed Russian oil import bans will still be able to purchase Russian oil. That's exactly what I told you, right? And that's their wish. That's their wish. Let me play you a clip from the White Witch, Ursula von der Leyen, the EU commissioner. Here's Macron, the French president.
We've seen over the past few months that our country and our continent have been submitted to increases in the price of energy, not only after the crappy of the COVID pandemic, but also made worse by the war launched by Russia in Ukraine. And in view of what Russia accounts for in terms of energy produced, gas and oil, this is important. In 2022, 25% of all of the energy consumed by the European Union was accounted for by gas, and 50% of...
Okay, spoiler alert, he's in favor as well. He's in favor as well. And the EU made a formal announcement, and they said they will support this G7 price cap and so on. Let me play you a clip here. This is Putin's reaction. Are you ready for Putin's reaction? This is his reaction right here.
Кроме всего прочего, есть контрактные обязательства, контракты на поставку. А что, будут приниматься какие-то решения политического характера, противоречащие контрактам? Да мы их просто выполнять не будем. И вообще не будем ничего поставлять, если это противоречит нашим интересам, в данном случае экономическим. Ни газ не будем поставлять, ни нефть, ни уголь, ни топочный мазут, ничего не будем поставлять. Мы будем полностью выполнять наши контрактные обязательства. Но если кто-то попытается нам что-то навязать, то хочу отметить, те, кто нам что-то навязывает, не в том положении находятся сегодня, чтобы диктовать нам свою волю. Пусть одумаются. Поставлять ничего не будем, как я сказал, вне рамок контракта. Ничего навязанного делать не будем. И нам останется только одно, как в известной русской сказке, приговаривать: мерзни, мерзни, волчий хвост. Однако на смену эпидемии пришли...
Wow. I'm just sorry to interrupt. I'm just gonna say one thing. When a Russian tells you you're gonna freeze, you better start running the other way, man.
Иные вызовы, также глобального характера, несущие угрозу для всего мира. Имею в виду санкционную лихорадку Запада, его неприкрытые агрессивные попытки навязать другим странам модели поведения, лишить их суверенитета и подчинить своей воле. Собственно говоря, ничего обычного в этом нет. Это политика, которая проводится коллективным Западом на протяжении десятилетий. Как многие европейские страны в прежние десятилетия и столетия действовали как колонизаторы, так и продолжают действовать сегодня. В очередной раз просто обманули развивающиеся страны и продолжают обманывать. Очевидно, что при таком подходе масштаб проблем с продовольствием в мире будет только нарастать, к сожалению, к огромному нашему сожалению, что способно привести к небывалой гуманитарной катастрофе.
That really speaks for itself. At the end, he was talking about he was referring to European to Western colonialism. I think he was also referring to the issue of grain supply. But nevertheless, I mean, it really speaks for itself. You notice how he said that if this goes against our interests, if it goes against the contracts that we signed, then we're not going to comply. And, you know, you could argue now that, well, when the Russians tried saying that you have to pay in rubles if you want gas, you know, the European position was that this goes against the contracts. The contracts are specifically denominated in euros, not rubles or rupees or whatever it is. Fine. I'll just say one thing. The Russians, at least, did not change the price. They said it's the exact same price and we'll even convert the money for you. The reason they were doing this is because you have to remember they had just stolen literally half of the Russian central bank's assets. Just stole them. Like, this is around, what are we talking about? 300 billion, if not more. And so the idea was that, okay, well, if you want to buy gas, that's not a problem. It's just you have to do it in rubles, and it has to be in Russia, in the Gazprom bank. I can already tell you one thing. The Chinese are never going to go along with this price cap. You are literally out of your mind if you think that the Chinese are going to go. I mean, look, man. It just doesn't make sense. Everything that the Chinese and Russians are doing is geared towards a future together. The only thing that this sanctions regime against Russia accomplished is to basically push it into China's arms. Okay? So Russia and China are now much, much closer. Why would China go and implement a price cap on oil, on Russian oil, that would hurt Russia? That doesn't make any sense. And then the other part of their brilliant plan of the G7, let me explain this to you. Their idea is that, okay, well, even if they don't want to go along with it, India and China, this might force the Russians to give the Indians a better price. Do you understand? And that would hurt the Russians anyway. So as I told you just a few minutes ago, the reason India keeps buying Russian oil is because they are getting a discount. So if there is a price cap, the Indians could go to the Russians and say, hey, look, man, if we go along with this price cap, that, you're going to have to sell it cheaper to us anyway. Right? So we won't do the price cap, but give us a good price. And that way the Russians are still going to earn less because they have to bring the price down to appease the Indians. You understand? It's I think this is just a stupid plan, because if they actually play with the Russian oil revenue like that, you will have chaos in international oil markets. You will have chaos. There is no way you can do this. There is no way that you're putting a price cap on Russian oil without the price of oil skyrocketing. It's just not happening, man. It's not happening. And I find it so reckless and disgusting that these politicians, they're literally using the suffering of their own people to say, oh, well, we have to make them suffer even more with our stupid plan. They know that the cost of energy through the roof. When you're going to the pump to fill your car up, through the roof. The euro in the gutter, the pound in the gutter. And they still think that they can hurt Russia with their brilliant plan. I'm telling you, man, this is not going to work. Shall I give you another hint why this won't work? The day that the G7 announced this price cap on Russian oil, do you know what happened? Russia closed Nord Stream 1. That's what happened. Did you see the result? Did you see what happened to the euro when the Russians did that? It's worth less than $1 because of that now. And the second thing, here's politics for you. Here's international relations. OPEC were producing 100,000 barrels of oil per day extra. Do you know what they did? They canceled that. Here's the headline from Reuters. Oil prices are up nearly 3% as OPEC Plus agreed to small oil output cut. So that's OPEC, that's the oil-producing countries giving the finger to the G7, saying, you want to play with this Russian price cap, whatever? No, it's not happening. We are already going to show you and signal to you that we're not happy with this, and this is just a little taste of what's coming. This is a signal from the oil-producing countries that if you play with that Russian price cap, we will cut our production and send the prices up. So before the G7 think about going any further, I would really reconsider. People in Europe, people in the United States, people in the West, people everywhere, people literally everywhere are suffering because of their stupid sanctions that don't work. And it's not me saying that. It's Russia showing that, and it's the OPEC Plus showing that as well. Again, man, the euro, the pound, oh my God. This is a little taste. This is a little taste of what's to come.